Good morning, Head Injury Jane here. It is December the 19th, 2014, 10:58 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. A lot has happened since the last video I did. I saw my new physician. She was amazing. She is straightforward. I love that. We have MRIs scheduled for both the head and the neck with contrasting dye and without contrasting dye. I am really excited about these tests now being ordered because it seems as though things are ramping up for me. For example, yesterday, monkey, you're going to destroy that, get down. 100-pound husky jumping on vintage glass doors. So some of the things that are happening, of course, I had that extreme headiness where I lost part of my I was losing part of my up-close vision, and I was having extreme pain on the right side of my head, all the ear ringing, all the things that I complained about last week that had basically been on me for a couple of weeks. Well, it lifted on December the 12th, and I actually got a lot of stuff accomplished. I know that I did a quick video and attached some of the chocolates that I made, and I was so excited about that day because as anyone who has a head injury knows, if headiness takes you down, there's no relief. You're riding it out. You're along for the ride. We can't stop it because there's something happening to the injured brain, right? So we're along for the ride. Well, yesterday, my ear started kind of ringing again for no apparent reason. And the night before, I was completely calm, no headiness, experiencing no extreme pain. And then all of a sudden at night, sitting in bed, no stress, nothing. I know that's a double negative, do not worry. The right ear swished. And I said, well, that's odd. And then the next day, I started having like some minor ear ringing. You know, my ears never stop ringing, but when it's higher than what I've learned to mute, that tells me that something's going on. So I'm like, okay, my ears are being weird. I don't exactly know why. And last night I had something visual happen in my right eye, and then hours later happened in my left eye. And it started out with it was like smaller than an egg, but it was oval, and it was quite astonishing. I was writing in my journal as it was happening. It actually grew to be the size of the room practically within a half an hour, and then was gone. And it's a visual disturbance that had jagged edges around it, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger. And I was like sitting there trying not to panic. I was like, because it's new. The problem with head injuries and what's happening in my particular case is that when things like this happen and they're new, it's terrifying. And you would think by now I was accustomed to it. You would think by now that I would go, oh, big giant blurry spot on this eye, and it's getting bigger and it's getting bigger, and now it's the size of the room. You would think I would go, oh, it's just another day in paradise. That's what you would think. But no, I still get like, okay, because it's completely new. But it was really odd. The right eye, it was a complete, even though it was jagged edged, it was a complete oval. So it was completely ovaled out. When it happened hours later to the left eye, it was crescent and not completely, and it was crescent. It was so bizarre. When it's this is how, the best way that I can describe this is that I don't think it's, I know this is going to sound weird. I don't necessarily think it's my eyes. And the reason being is that once it was out of my visual scope and then in my peripheral, I could still see it. So it was in peripheral vision that I'm having these, so first it's in the main part of the vision. It's like right here, and it's getting bigger and it's getting bigger. And of course, Anthony, my handler, I don't know what you want to call him because he's the guy who drives me where I need to go. When I freak out, he comes downstairs and just looks at me and goes, okay, is there anything I can do? What can I do? And I'm like, nothing. Just wait. If I, obviously if I pass out, you would dial 911, if I fainted or something weird like that. All of a sudden, if I start talking gibberish and I'm out of my mind, dial 911, not well, dial emergency vehicles, to get me to a hospital. But that's what happens. I keep thinking that something all of a sudden is going wrong. And this is a new set of, right? So anyway, the one on the left eye late in the evening was crescent, that was not a completed crescent shape, right? It just had the back oval, and it was jagged as well. And it grew, same kind of thing, where it grew to outside of my actual in front of me visual, where it was in the peripheral vision, and then it was gone. So I've had that happen yesterday for the first time ever. And to me, these things are amazing because it shows how the injured brain from traumatic brain injury, a year and a few, now I'm in a year and 4 months, because it happened in August, September, October, November, December. So a year and 4 months, I'm having completely new fallout from the traumatic brain injury that happened in August of 2013. Can you imagine? Now, it's no wonder TBI sufferers rage. I don't rage. I'm more calm. Now, if I start getting nervous or scared, I can get kind of out of my mind very quickly because I don't know what's going on, and I get really like, oh my God. And I kind of freak out. But I don't rage. But I can kind of understand how some people rage because it's terrifying. And the fact of the matter is, the brain, we're the walking wounded. You cannot see our wounds, but we are severely injured, but you can't tell. So when I'm walking down the road, people have no idea what I'm actually experiencing in that head. I might look like I'm on top of the world, and in my side of my head, I'm like, oh my God, I can't even think what's my name. So, but I do have the MRIs ordered. They're coming up soon in January. I'm very excited about it. I'm thrilled to no end because clearly my brain is injured, and clearly we need a picture of it. Now, I have MRI scans from 2006 that I actually am going to go ahead and track down for the doctors. That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to call the facility and have those records sent to me and tell them that I'm a traumatic, right, give them all the information, the traumatic brain injury, and that we could use that as a basis, potentially as a baseline. I mean, who knows? Who knows? What's going to be traumatic for me, and this will break my heart, and I already know, and I could almost tear up thinking about it. But if those MRIs don't show anything, I'm going to be so upset, because that means that this injured brain is just messed up. It'll just be that. This is my head injury. This is my fallout. And that's it. And to me, that's almost terrifying, because it's like, I think it would highlight or showcase how damaging a closed traumatic brain injury can be in your own home, and then not see anything. And that to me is just beyond terrifying, because this head injury has changed my life completely. And I full well expect for there to be molecular damage that is seen with a contrasting dye imaging on the head. I believe there's got to be something. I mean, some days it feels like something's running through my hair. I'm like, and it's nothing. And I've associated this now to that itchy spot that sometimes feels like there's water on the scalp. Just imagine. This is my new life. And this is a good day, of course, because I'm not in headiness. I'm in very little pain. The ear ringing is basically muted to its normal. And I feel fantastic. And it could all change on a dime. I mean, I felt fine yesterday outside of some moderate ear ringing. I always, again, there's always baseline ear ringing. The ears have not stopped ringing since the traumatic brain injury. I get numbness in my face and in my sinuses, and I can feel it, and it kind of freaks me out because I'm like, there's no reason this should be numb. And so I know it's all associated with the brain injury, but it's just it's just an amazing ride. All I can say is it's an amazing ride because we're continually learning more and more and more. But I want the medical field. I want us as TBI sufferers to have better choices. Or I don't know. I don't know. We're such a medical malady. We fall into such a weird pocket because, yes, we have a brain injury. Yes, we're having issues. But what can you do about it? I'm not going to have a lobotomy. And I was reading some people start taking antidepressants because they want to stabilize the moods, because of course they become more erratic because of course their brain is attacking them. I mean, that's basically what it is. Your brain all of a sudden starts behaving badly, and it's very challenging. And I think it's just astonishing that I just feel like we need to know more about brain injuries, especially in the category of someone where maybe like many of us who's watching this right now, many of us where we just it are there no options? Are there no medical options for us? I mean outside of your emergency medical stuff, and then obviously ear ringing. We look at everything that you can look, but at the end of the day, are there going to be options for us? And I do believe there's going to be nanomedicine available at some point in time to help correct molecular damage. I think that, and I have hopes for that. I don't think I'll see it in my lifetime. I really don't. Not as a normal rehabilitative action, because obviously it seems to me that though there's a lot of information about traumatic brain injuries, there's this weird gap between what's happening on the brain, in the brain, visually, at a molecular, cellular level, what's happening where we can see what's going on. I don't know if we'll ever be able to. I mean, obviously, if there's going to be damage there, we'll see it, we'll know. But I just want to come on and talk about that a little bit. Just the visual eye stuff was very weird for me. I did almost panic at first. I really did. But I did not take any of my panic medication because I wanted to be sure if I was having a medical emergency that I wasn't going to be convoluted with medications, right? It was just going to be blood pressure medicine, and that's it. So if I went to the emergency room, there was not going to be any conflict in medicine or whatever, so I didn't take any of my panic medication, but it was very scary nonetheless. I was just sitting there like, what's happening? And it's getting bigger and it's getting bigger. And then it goes into your peripheral and then it was gone. And I was like, well, gone. No residual anything. Just gone. And I was like, interesting. And then about, a few hours later, the left side started doing it. And I wasn't as scared, and the shape was different, which I find intriguing. And I would love to know what caused those. Is there pressure on my nerves? So this is where the MRIs are going to be pivotal in giving us at least a look at what's happening inside the brain and see if we could see anything. Is there something pressing on something that doesn't need to be pressed on in there? I mean, there's a lot of eye, ear, and sinus, eyes, ears, sinus type stuff that's happening. Nothing in the throat. but there's like a lot of weird little tiny popping and numbness, and the ears have never ceased. So I guess we're just going to find out. But I wanted to come on and actually talk about the holidays just a little bit. I wanted to just try and impart a little bit of calm on anyone. Like, I know I'm going to be in social situations, and I'm not normally in any social situations. And so it becomes a little bit stressful because I can forget people's names right in the middle of a sentence. I can forget what I'm talking about right in the middle of a sentence. And so it's challenging because, you're interacting with people and all of a sudden, boom, you're blank. And so it's challenging. I kind of just try and focus on breathing. I believe in a lot of laughter and actually enjoying it. So I try to, for me in social situations, instead of it in my mind making it already something negative before it happens, I already start thinking about all the positive stuff. Like there are going to be children at this social function, and I'm really excited because I love children. So I'm like, play with the kids, have fun with the children. And, they're the least likely to judge you generally. So, go hang out with the kids. I like to help in the kitchen a lot. So I will help prepare with this family in particular. I will help them. I get in there. I offer my, hey, how can I help you? For me, even doing the dishes is a great way to kind of remove myself from social situations that might seem stressful. And plus I'm helping. Right? So there are a lot of little ways that we can kind of contribute and take stress off of ourselves if we just kind of think proactively, like, okay, how can I it's like pain gating, except for with the mind, you're kind of just distracting yourself with other things and make those things that you enjoy. That's all I want to come on here and say. It's 16 minutes. It's already been too long. I wanted to go over the fact that I've been having some newer strange things happening, and the visual stuff is, it's frightening. It's all frightening because I don't know what's happening right now inside of my head, other than I know I have an injured brain. Well, I hope that you guys are fantastic, that you take great care, and I hope that you have fantastic holidays. Be safe and watch your heads. Take great care.